Hi, welcome to Johnston Community College and Chem 151 online. My name is Rachel Davis. I'll be your instructor this semester. You may call me Mrs. Davis in your emails to me. So, first of all, I wanted to introduce you to myself and to the class. My background is in polymer chemistry. I am a two-time alum of NC State University. I did my undergraduate there and my graduate degree. Then in 2011, I left NC State and came here to Smithfield, to Johnston Community College, where I have been teaching chemistry, general chemistry, and introductory level chemistry since then. I'm now the lead chemistry instructor at Johnston Community College. And you can find my office in the new health building in room F110C anytime I have office hours or if you make an appointment. So, a little bit about the class. This is General Chemistry 1, meaning it is the first of a 2-semester pair. So if you are planning on taking the sequence, this is the first half, and the second half will cover the second half of, in this case, our textbook. And this is part of the articulation agreement, meaning that this is the equivalent of a General Chemistry 1 class at any public university in North Carolina, meaning if you obtain a C or better in the class, it will transfer to that public institution as their General Chemistry 1 class. So for that reason, expect the same level of rigor in this class that you would expect at a university setting, but a little bit more personalization, hopefully. So what do you need to get started in this class? Obviously you're taking this online, so hopefully you have a computer and access to the internet that is reliable. If you do not have reliable access to the internet, hopefully you have a plan B in place, especially on nights when things are due, whether that is to go to a library, come on campus to use one of our computer labs, or go somewhere that has a Wi-Fi connection. You're going to need a textbook. Now, we use ALEKS 360 as our software in this class, and ALEKS 360 does come with access to our textbook if you buy it new from our bookstore. And for this class being online, the ebook is technically all you need, but if you do prefer a physical copy of the textbook, there are options for you to buy a physical copy. We do keep physical copies in our bookstore you can purchase, and we are working out of Chemistry by Julia Burge. This is the 5th edition is what we are currently working out of. And again, there are options for buying that physical copy, but technically all you need is the ebook if that's all you want. You will need a calculator. So chemistry is a quantitative science, so for that reason we're going to be doing a lot of calculations. Now, this does not need to be a graphing calculator. It's fine if it is a graphing calculator, but it just doesn't need to be a scientific calculator. My recommendation is use whatever scientific calculator that you are most familiar with. So this is the typical calculator if you're taking a math class here at JCC that they use, and this is fine. You don't have to spend a lot of money. This is from the dollar store, and this is fine as well, as long as it has scientific notation and you know how to use scientific notation. And of course, the TI-83s, TI-86s, those graphing calculators are fine as well. But the main thing is that you need to be able to use your calculator and know how to do scientific notation in your calculator. And if you do not know how to do scientific notation in your calculator, and the easiest way, of course, is just to go on YouTube and look up how do I do scientific notation, and whatever the version of the calculator is you have. But if you're having trouble, please reach out and feel free to email me. The last thing that you're going to need, because you're taking this class online, is you are going to need a lab kit. So here is our lab kit. It is from eScience. So this is a custom lab kit that is only available through our bookstore here at JCC. So when you either go to the bookstore or order it from the bookstore, you will get an access card, and that access card will have a code on it and instructions on how to redeem it online for the kit. Because we are a very small college with a small bookstore, we do not keep these actual big old kits in stock. They're big. But this will get shipped directly to you, and I believe shipping handling is included in the cost of buying that access card from us. But it does have to be our kit. It's custom. We use I line up experiments that line up with our specific learning objectives, so it does have to be our kit. So that's the last thing you need. Make sure you order that early on, especially if you're ordering online from our bookstore. Again, our bookstore will ship you the access card, which you then have to redeem to have the kit sent to you. So if you wait till the second week of class, you're not going to get it in time and you're going to miss due dates. So that is what you need to get started with the class. I'm going to switch over to the screencast so that you can see the syllabus information and how to navigate Blackboard, and then I'll later have videos on how to complete your lab assignments and how to complete your ALEX assignments. So let's go ahead and switch over to the screen reader. Alright, so when you first go into Blackboard, into our class, this is what you will see. And your menu items are over here on the left-hand side of the screen. And the landing spot is always going to be the announcements, where you'll see whatever the weekly announcements are. Sometimes I send out more than one announcement. Those will also be sent to whatever email address you have registered with Blackboard. So the very first time you enter the course, the first thing you do is the enrollment verification quiz over here. Click on that. It just takes a few minutes. You will not be able to see your assignments until you click on that. The second thing that you'll need to do is the syllabus. Read through the syllabus and complete the syllabus acknowledgement. Both of those things must be completed before you can access any of your assignments. So the enrollment verification quiz just verifies that you are in the class, you can access Blackboard, you can complete assignments, and that serves as your entry date. That's the equivalent of showing up to class on the first day of class if this was a seated class. So that needs to be completed first. Again, it's just a quick quiz. It doesn't count for a grade. It's just general idea, information about the college. Your syllabus, when you go to the syllabus, let me actually go into out of edit mode so it looks more like what you will see, like that. So when you go into the syllabus, here's your download for the syllabus, and there's alternative formats. So the general format is document. If you click on that, you can also do PDF, HTML, whatever version you need, an audio, electronic braille, all of those options. And then your student acknowledgement form is the third link down here in PDF. If you do not have a PDF reader, there's a free download for a PDF reader there. So you need to download it, and then at that point in time you need to fill it out. Now there's two options for filling it out. That PDF reader does allow you to fill it out and save it to your computer and then submit it. It does not let you to sign it, but when you submit it, that counts as your digital signature, so don't worry about the signature line. Or you can alternatively print it off, fill it out by hand, and either scan it or take a picture and upload that in a picture format. But you need to submit it here. So when you go in there, it'll ask you to browse your computer and submit it. Now, I have a lot of students who think that they saved it correctly and it did not fill out. So please make sure that it did save correctly with your filled out form. So my advice is, after you have submitted it here, click down here, Save Draft. When you click Save Draft, it will give you a preview of your submission, and at that point in time you'll see whether or not it actually filled it out, and if it did not, then you can go back and save it correctly and upload the correct submission before continuing on and submitting it. So let's back out and look at the actual syllabus now. So a lot of the syllabus information is going to be the same if you're taking other classes at JCC, but some of it is unique to our class. So I'm not going to read through this word for word because that would be a really long video, but I just want to point out the big things. Okay, so this is 4 credit hours but 6 contact hours. What that 6 means is if you were taking this class fully seated, you would be physically in front of me for 6 hours a week, not including all the time you would be spending outside of class completing homework and studying and reviewing the lecture material. So for a high concept level class like this, the rule of thumb is for every hour spent in class, expect to spend 1.5 to 2 hours outside of class. So that's like 18 hours if you were taking this fully seated. You're taking this online, which means the lecture portion you're having to do on your own time and then still do all of the homework assignments. So still expect, depending on your learning style, to spend 12 to 18 hours on this class every single week. So it is definitely a heavy load. Again, 6 contact hours is the equivalent of 2 of if you were taking, say, English 111 or Psychology 150. This is twice as many contact hours as a class like that. So be aware of that when you are scheduling your week. There are no current prerequisites for this class. However, it is a quantitative science, meaning it is math-based. So we expect you to at least come with high school level math, that is a good understanding of arithmetic and a good understanding of high school level algebra. You do not need to have pre-calculus, although it is helpful not because we're going to use any pre-calculus, but it's helpful because you're going to be more confident in it. But definitely, if you are still working through any sort of developmental math classes, it is recommended that you complete those developmental classes before attempting a quantitative science like chemistry. So if you have any concerns about your specific level of math, feel free to reach out to me when you do the initial knowledge check on Alex. It will be mostly math-based, and if you're looking at all this math saying, I have no idea what this math is, then that's probably a hint that you're probably not quite ready to take this class yet. Now, don't worry about that initial knowledge checks. The science portion of it, the chemistry portion of that, I do not expect you to know that yet, but at least know the math portion of it. And if you're a little bit rusty, then Alex will help tutor you through the stuff you're more rusty about. So don't panic too much. Again, if you have any concerns, feel free to reach out to me and talk to me about your individual case. So last day to drop this class without a grade penalty is March 26th. If you drop after that date, then you will receive a WF, which affects both your financial aid and your GPA. Before that date, you can still be dropped for attendance violations. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So faculty information, I've already mentioned my office is in the Health Building F110C. My office hours are Monday from 1 to 2, Tuesday from 2:30 to 3:30, and Wednesday from 9:30 to 12. So those are the hours that you can expect me to either be in my office or in the classroom ready to help students. Best way to reach me is by email. I do have an office phone number. If I'm not actually in my office, of course, I won't be able to answer that. So usually the fastest way to get a hold of me is by email. I try and respond to all emails within 24 hours during the week. Usually it's less time than that, but over the weekends, it might not be answered until Monday. So this is the course description directly off of the articulation agreement, meaning this is what all of the four-year colleges say. This is our general chemistry. And the course format, again, this is 100% online. All of your work will be submitted through Blackboard and Alex 360. So you are required to purchase Alex 360. You cannot pass the class without purchasing Alex 360. So if you've taken a math class here at JCC, you hopefully are a little bit familiar already with Alex, but again, I'll make a separate video going over all the stuff about Alex. And then the disclaimer about how much time to expect to spend in the class we've already talked about. We will be covering the first 10 chapters of our textbook. If you're going on to Chem 152 next semester, then we will cover the next 10 chapters of the same textbook, meaning there'll be nothing new to purchase. So I've gone through and put the student learning objectives for each chapter. You can read through those, but those are the standing points for when you go to study for exams, what to expect that you need to know. I've already gone over the materials required for this class, and then this is the general course schedule each week, what to expect to do. So we're in week 1, that's chapter 1, Introduction to Chemistry and Measurements. Hopefully for a lot of you guys, that's going to be a lot of review stuff. How do I convert between centimeters and inches? How do I convert between Celsius and Fahrenheit, that kind of stuff. And how do I know where to round numbers when I'm completing a calculation? And then we go pretty much 1 chapter per week or a test per week. So we will have 4 tests and a final exam. So our grade breakdown, this is a weighted average, meaning your tests are weighted at 40%. So your test average is 40% of your grade. Your final exam, we will have a cumulative final exam that will cover all 10 chapters, and that will be worth 20% of your grade. 15% of your grade comes from quizzes, homework participation, discussion board posts, that sort of thing. And then 1/4 of your grade comes from your laboratory assignment. So another reason why you definitely need to buy the lab kit, because if you don't have the lab kit, you won't be able to do that 25% of the class. We are on a 10-point grading scale, so 90 and above is an A, 80 and 89 is a B, etc. Feedback. Lab reports I grade manually. I make every effort to try and get those graded and back to you within 2 weeks. Homework and tests are submitted online and scored immediate. Excuse me. So expect the feedback on that immediately. If you need any additional feedback, feel free to reach out to me and say that you're having trouble with something, you don't understand why I was kind of wrong. There are no makeup assignments or tests unless they're extreme circumstances that you've reached out to me. Something major is going on. Just keep me in the loop and let me know what's going on. So to get your feedback for the laboratory assignments on Blackboard, there is a link that says My Grades. Let me go back to that real quick. Off to the side here, My Grades. When you click on My Grades, it'll populate, and it won't show anything for me because I'm not a student. But over to the side where you see your grade, excuse me, there will be a link that says View Feedback, and that's where you'll see what was kind of right or wrong, or my general feedback if I said, you know, this is what you were doing wrong in this kind of a lab. Critical assess online attendance. So this is a big one for an online class. So again, this is 6 contact hours class. So the minimum attendance is 6 hours a week in Blackboard or Alex, completing the assignments to at least be considered attending the class. At JCC, if you do not attend regularly, then you will be dropped from the class for excessive absences. For us, that works out to the equivalent of 2 weeks. So in this class, because this class is half lecture, half lab, as far as the way the contact hours are broken apart, that means that you have to complete 1 lecture assignment, that's your Alex assignment, or a discussion board, and 1 lab assignment every week. If you don't do one of those, it counts as a half-week attendance absence. If you don't do either, it counts as a full week of absence. If you exceed 2 weeks of absence, you will be dropped by the college and receive a grade of WF. This can happen even before that last drop date. So make sure you are logging in and completing your assignments every single week so you don't accrue those absences and end up getting dropped from the class. So most of this you can read through the same. I just want to point out student concerns here. So the first step, if you have any concerns about the class, is to, of course, to talk to me. So reach out to me, send me an email, come see me during my office hours, and talk to me about your concern. If you feel that your concern was not properly addressed or that whatever issue was going on was not resolved, at that point you would escalate it going up the chain. It does not help to jump straight to the top of the chain because they don't know what's going on. So if things don't work out after you've talked to the faculty member, the next step is the department chair. So the department chair, we've got the information here, your contact information, that's Dr. Katie Levin. If at that point it escalates and it's still not getting resolved, it would escalate to the Associate Vice President of University Studies and Educational Technologies, Ms. Dawn Dixon, and there's her contact information. But again, faculty first, and then work up if it's not getting resolved, because otherwise if you go straight to a higher person, they're not going to know what's going on and they're not going to be able to help you. So the person who's going to be able to help you the most is going to be the faculty member. So please reach out to me first. Alright, so let's go ahead and switch back to Blackboard and talk about Blackboard some. So again, here's Blackboard. I already talked about the announcements, the enrollment verification quiz, your syllabus. Now under my instructor, this is my information, my contact information, where to find me, where my office is, and my office hours, and the best way to reach me and such. Now the assignments tab, if you have not yet completed your enrollment verification quiz and submitted your syllabus acknowledgement, when you click on the assignments, this is all you're going to see, reminding you that you cannot access your lessons until you complete both that enrollment verification quiz and the student acknowledgement form. Now if you have completed both the enrollment verification quiz and the student acknowledgement form, and you know you completed them because when you check My Grades, you see them showing up as having submissions, and you're still not seeing the lesson folders, then let me know, and we'll see what the issue is. But I haven't had any issues with this thus far. So let me exit out of this so you can see what you will see. Hang on. So once you complete those two, you will see this folder pop up. You won't see the chapter 2 quite yet, but you'll see the chapter getting started in chapter 1 folder. So when you click on that, it will list what the tasks are for it. So the main task the first week is signing up for Alex, doing the tool tutorial and the initial knowledge check. This is due by Tuesday, January 14th, so 1 week into the class. After that, most assignments will be due on Fridays. So starting Friday, January 17th is when your Chapter 1 assignments and your Lab 1 assignments are due. So here is the link for Alex Chemistry that you will need to have access to Alex for. As far as lecture assignments, we'll have PDF files and lecture videos. Some of these lecture videos are recorded just using a screencast in my office. Some of them are actually recorded live in front of an actual seated lecture. So those ones, you'll hear me doing lots of pauses because I'm answering student questions and such. But they tend to be a little bit longer, but more in depth than the lecture videos like this that are just done in my office going over the main points of the chapters. I work a lot of practice problems in these, so I highly recommend you follow along working out the practice problems with me, and then directly after the lecture, while it's still fresh in your mind, go through your textbook, find more example problems, find example problems in Alex, and complete those while it's still fresh, and reach out if you're having trouble. After that, there'll be your lab folders assignments. Now, off to the side here, you will also see discussion board, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Your email. So if you ever send an email to me, it has to be through your official email address. Excuse me. If you send me an email through a private email address, like such as Gmail or something like that, I will not be able to respond to it due to privacy rules or laws. The direct link to Alex is always over here on the side, so you do not have to go directly into the assignment folder each time. And then math tutorials is a link that helps you just get up to speed with what kind of math is expected in this level of a science class. And it's those, let's look at it real quick. So unit conversions, rearranging formulas, how to use do scientific notation, how to use scientific notation on calculators, general idea of dimensional analysis, that sort of thing. Let's see here. And then all of your help areas, so Blackboard help, accessing your materials from Barnes & Noble. If you need to purchase it, all that kind of stuff is also there. Alright, so that's it for the introduction video, how to get started, and I will post videos in your assignments folder to explain how to access and complete your Alex assignments, as well as how to access and complete your lab assignments. The first week's lab assignments do not require you to have the use of the kit, so if you don't have it yet, that's fine. If you're having trouble obtaining the kit in time for the first lab assignment that will be due in the following week, then please reach out and let me know what's going on. So welcome to the class. I'm glad you're all here, and I look forward to working with you this semester.